So here we are. As I mentioned, INM Reach is a web application. So it is launched directly from within a browser. I will give you the exact URL for reference later, but basically all you do is type in the URL, which is reach.inm.com/cc. In a few moments, you should see it loading. I think there may be some lag, so we're going to take this slowly. So you should see a browser with the URL in the address, which is reach.inm.com/cc, and the login screen. Now you have been sent your login details, and you can log in yourself. What I suggest is maybe that I go through the demonstration first myself, and then I'll give you a chance to try it out for yourself afterwards. You would just enter your email address and password as they were sent to you. You have an option for Remember Me here, which you can use. Obviously saves you entering these details every time. And then you would go log in. But if you're a first-time user, you would see one step before this is you would see the terms of service appear. You would just have to click that you agree, and you can read them in your own time. And then later on, if ever you need to reference them again, they're always available right here at the bottom right of your screen. This is the first screen that comes up when you log into the control center. So there's a little bit of information, again, that I'll let you read in your own time. It's some getting started tips and contact email addresses, and like I mentioned, the terms of service are always available. Then we would go to the left-hand side in the My Documents. That's where you interact with your documents. For example, here is the list within my account of all the documents I've uploaded. There's 14, as we see here on the screen. And it lists them all, in this case in alphabetical order. And on the right-hand side here, you see basically various columns that are all clickable, and you can sort by any one of these columns. You see the status, whether it's online or offline, the view, whether it's a 1 or 2 page view, the date the document was added, the last time someone viewed it, the number of views, and the size of your document. So all very useful information. And then what happens is you would hover over any of these documents to get options and ways to interact with your document. Now, the only difference that you might see if you're a first-time user and you haven't yet actually uploaded any documents is that this whole screen obviously would be look a little bit different since there is no document to display. The only thing you would see is this icon up here, which is your first step on how to upload a document. And so this is actually what we're going to do now. We're going to upload one document so that I can show you how you would do this. So you would therefore click on this icon on the top left, which is called Upload a New Document. And you would navigate to the place on your computer where your PDF is ready and waiting to be uploaded. So this, I'm going to pick this one here and click Open. And it takes a few seconds, maybe a minute or so, depending on the size of your document. It also depends on your connection speed and so on. So this is the approximate time. I think it's a 5 to 10 page document. So this is the approximate time this takes. It's reasonably fast, I think. And my screen is slowly updating. I believe yours is as well. And soon you're going to see the list, the same list that we had previously, but now you see that the first document is the one we just uploaded. I named it in a way that it would appear at the top since it's in alphabetical order. And so let's interact a little bit with this document. So what do we see here? First, we see that the status has got a green check mark, meaning that by default, as soon as you upload it, it's available, it's online. If you wanted to take it offline for a few seconds, you would simply go here to the toolbar that's relative to this document and take the document offline by just clicking this button. It'll ask you for a confirmation, and you would just say OK. And now, as you see, it is now offline, so you could, make changes to it or do whatever you wanted to do to it. If you wanted to put it back online, a simple click on the green button here, and there you go, you're back online. By default, the PDF shows up on a 2-page view. The two-page view is the one that allows you to have that lovely page flipping effect as they look through the document as if the user was reading a book. But if you have a document that's better suited for a one-page view, you could use this icon here and switch to one-page view. There we go. We've switched to one-page view or back to a two-page, whichever you prefer. You can play around with it, see what it looks like in the viewer and decide. Obviously, your option to completely remove the document from this list is here as well. And then now we'll come to two options that concern viewing the document. The first one here is copy link. What does that mean? That means that you actually copy the URL to your clipboard, to your computer's memory, basically. And then you can use that URL to distribute to your readers. You can send them an email and put the URL in an email or in a web page. I'll show you how it basically, you just simply click it, and that basically means it's been stored in your computer's memory. And if we went to, for example, a notepad document, and then you pasted, so you edit, paste, there you see the URL of that document. It's a rather long document URL. It contains a lot of code. It's got a specific key for that document and for your account. And it does also include the name of the PDF. So it's worth noting, if you needed to pay specific attention to the name of the PDF, that your readers will see it in their browser. Back to the control center over here. So that was one way of distributing this document to your readers. Another way is obviously for them, well, they would view it immediately in the viewer. You can take a look at it to see what it looks like by clicking this button, which opens basically a new window and displays this PDF document in the INM Reach viewer exactly how your readers will see it. So we had chosen a two-page view. So here obviously you see the first page. I think it's taking a little while to load because of the lag time on Connect. I think that. So this is obviously the front page, but as soon as you view two pages, page 2 and 3, then you're seeing a two-page view, which is what we set in the control panel. And as I mentioned before, as soon as I don't do anything with my mouse, the toolbar disappears, and then as soon as I move my mouse again, the toolbar, well, it's reappeared on my screen. It might take a little while. There you go. It reappears as well. Okay, so then a few other options, since we're in this viewer mode. This is, like I mentioned, what your reader would see. So a few things that the reader can do and to interact with your document is if he double-clicks on the document, which I won't actually do just because of the lag time, but if the user double-clicks, it zooms into the document. You can also use these two buttons on the toolbar to zoom in and out. Other buttons that we have on the toolbar are the previous and next buttons to navigate through the pages. And you also have, if you look at the bottom, a slider, which allows you to slide through the pages. And when you're sliding, it tells you what page you're on. And then you also have a print button. So I'm going to click it right here. And it's a button that allows you to print one page at a time. So this is a great advantage for publishers who may not want their readers to print the entire document in one go. This is a one page at a time printing option. So this is pretty much the viewer in a nutshell. So I'm going to close this window now and return to the control center, which was right underneath in another window. And so we're back here in our control center. And so the last component that I wanted to show you was the reports section. So right here on the left, you see my reports. If you click on that, it generates some very pretty graphics. And it generates a pie chart and a line graph and a lot more details. Since, as you probably saw, I had a lot of documents up there, it shows me a lot of page views. These are actually the demos that we have on our website right now. That's the main 3 documents that you see there. So this section of the interface, basically at the top here you see a few selectors that allow you to narrow down your selection. And then the top half of the page is the document view statistics, and the second half of the page is the page view statistics. And here on the right, you also see some extra usage statistics that can be useful. So what do we have as options? Here we see that you can either look at all your documents or obviously pick one specific document. The control center picks up on all the documents that you have on the in the interface. So for example, this is one of the more popular demos on our website. So the content is refreshed and it's specifically looking at this document here. You see the graph has changed to show only the document views for this document. And then more specifically, it goes into the page views. So this is a document that has up to 50 pages. And so it's showing per page how many page views with the detail here in the grid on the right. And it's interesting to note, it's a very interesting graph because you see which are your most viewed pages and where maybe the attention of the reader starts dropping off. And by the end, there's less people who view probably the last page of your document. I think it's a general scenario with documents. You have a date range options here. Here, this is a 2-week range approximately. But if you wanted to see, for example, just a 24-hour period, same document because I haven't changed that. And so for this document, you see this changes to the time view because it's 24 hours and all the content is refreshed. If I wanted to look for one day at all the documents, I could go back and see that as well. So that's a little bit of the information that you would find on the report section. Obviously, I'd let you take a deeper look and play around with that yourself. I wanted to just point out the logout button that's on the top left here. So whenever you're done with your session, that's where you would log out. And so this really concludes the demonstration section of this webinar. So I'm going to close this window and return to Adobe Connect, which is over here. And I will stop sharing my screen to take a little while. And so my slides are coming back online here. I think mine is actually taking a bit longer than your slides to appear. There we go. So this is the demonstration topics that we covered. So this was the overview of INM Reach that I wanted to show you, and that was basically the standard version of our INM Reach offering. But what we can do, of course, is work with you to customize this product to fit your project needs or your company needs in whichever way you like. Some examples, for example, is that we could brand the viewer to your company logos or your company colors. We can integrate the viewer in a web page or within your own project. And if you need additional features, that's always possible as well. Some examples are a table of content or thumbnails, hyperlink within the PDF, or even a higher level of zooming. We can obviously provide all these features. So I would definitely encourage to speak to either Andrea or myself with regards to this if you see the need for this in your project. So this concludes the recorded section of this webinar. For the attendees present today, we're going to go through a session where you can play around with your own documents, but for the purpose of this recording, I will now end this webinar.